Matthew Hawkins back again with another video, and last week the news was in the UK and Ireland that La Liga will be heading to Disney Plus, and rumours are rife that finally it was already in Latin America, it was in the United States, and earlier this year it went into Australia and New Zealand. That will finally get an ESPN section here in the UK and Ireland. And to be quite honest, I kind of wish they let ESPN Player linger on for a couple of years, but I digress. Either way, here's what I kind of think will be sort of in the lineup here for if they do go all in and have a full-blown ESPN section here in the UK. So with that being said, there ain't anything that I'm not going to be happy that's on there, because really no one's forcing me to watch certain things. As long as I get my ESPN back, I'm okay. Either way, let's begin. Starting off with what I think will be on here, and I'm going to start with the ESPN 30 for 30s. Starting with what pretty much is already on there, a handful of the ESPN 30 for 30s are already on there, but also ones like This Was the XFL and The Good, The Bad and The Hungry might make their way on there as well. And I mean, they've already got the 30 for 30s on there, the other sports documentaries that aren't part of the ESPN films or anything, like Welcome to Wrexham and that. Obviously the one about Braun GP, and obviously one about Freddie Flintoff. But yeah, back to the 30 for 30s. We've already got some on there. We might put the full back catalogue on there if we get a full-blown ESPN section. So that's why I think we're going to get the 30 for 30s. Also another guarantee, the UEFA Women's Champions League and the Liga. I put these as one because I'd be repeating myself if I had them separate. It is pretty much a foregone conclusion that if we get an ESPN section here in the UK, and pretty much the La Liga news is the one that basically says we're going to get an ESPN section at some point, because the broadcast is going to be produced by ESPN for the Women's Champions League and La Liga, so it only makes sense, and I'm pretty certain that is going to be a big part of the lineup is these two. The NBA, the WNBA and the G League. This is why I'd be surprised if by the time the year is out that we don't have an ESPN section on Disney Plus here in the UK and Ireland. The big mega deal that the NBA struck last year, which includes global rights, should mean that games are on Amazon in America, on Amazon over here. The games are on Peacock and NBC in USA. In America will be on Sky over here. And then the games are on ESPN or ABC in the US will be on Disney Plus over here. And pretty much I'd be repeating myself for the WNBA and the G League. So basically, yes, I think the NBA would be a big part of that lineup. ESPN studio shows. Now, the things that probably ain't confirmed, I mean, you could say the NBA is going to be one of the things that ain't really confirmed, but one thing I would be very, very surprised if they do go all in and have a full-blown ESPN section. This was not included, and that's the ESPN studio shows. Obviously, we're not getting Around the Horn, because Around the Horn is sadly has ended. We made a big deal about it ending earlier this year. I don't think it's going to be coming back anytime soon. But we have still got ESPN FC, we've still got PTI, and well, there would be Sports Centre, but more on that in a bit. But they've been big parts of the ESPN global syndication package for many years now, and they were on ESPN Player prior to ESPN Player closing down. And if it also wouldn't hurt, I wouldn't mind Get Up and First Take, to be quite honest. I wouldn't mind Stephen A. Smith talking and doing Stephen A. Smith things. So that's why I would very much like the ESPN Studio Suite to be part of the ESPN on Disney Plus. ESPN's globally syndicated sporting events. Usually the events, for those who may remember it being on BT Sport before BT Sport became TNT Sports, it's usually the stuff that would be up on there, as well as what was on ESPN Play, the stuff that ESPN holds the global distribution rights. I'm obviously talking about all the college sports like that. In fact, even March Madness, where the men's March Madness, that's the only thing Division 1 tournament they don't have. I believe they don't have domestic rights for, but they do have the global distribution rights. But I'm obviously talking about the Little League World Series as well, the Nathan's Famous hot dog eating contest from Coney Island, and also maybe the X Games, but I don't think ESPN owns the rights to that anymore. So correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But yeah, I think that's on DAZN now anyway. You notice I'm not going to say the CFL because, well, we've got CFL Plus. I don't know if they've still got the deal with ESPN as they have had for previous years, and that's probably why it was on BT Sport for so long. But either way, at least as long as we're getting the college sports, I'm looking forward to the prospects of having my college sports back, and the guarantee to watch Syracuse on Disney Plus, and I'm sure many others, even the Urcher when they do that. ESPN's college sports networks. if they're going to go all in and basically make it like ESPN Player, well, we had ESPNU, we don't have the Longhorn network anymore. The SEC and ACC network we do have. I would be surprised if they didn't have ESPNU, because given that they occasionally show stuff, i.e. Formula 1 practice, that they don't have the global distribution rights for. But obviously, we will have. I'm not expecting ESPN or ESPN2 or even ESPN News, but at the very least, the SEC and ACC network, and hopefully, touch wood, ESPNU. NFL, NHL, and MLB studio shows. Well, we already know the NBA is going to be a big part of should be a part of ESPN on Disney Plus, given the new mega deal that kicks in this coming season. So we should get NBA Today and NBA Countdown and all the other NBA shows that ESPN do. But also, what about NFL Live, NFL Matchup, NFL Primetime, The Point for the NHL, In the Crease, and even Baseball Tonight, providing, of course, ESPN and MLB don't part ways at the end of the season. But at least, if not the Manning cast as well, because that'll be on DAZN. We'll get the Fun Day Football if they decide to do that again. I would like, obviously, at the very least, yeah, NFL Live, NFL Matchup if they're still doing that, and NFL Prime Time and The Point at the very least. Obviously, we should really add College Football Live. And am I missing any more? Obviously, College Game Day. You can't forget College Game Day. Am I missing any more? I don't think so. Next, Sports Center. This one I would be very, very glad if it was a part of the lineup, but what kind of version are we getting? Are we getting the ones seen daily across America, or are we getting the international version that we had on BT Sport over here and obviously on ESPN Player before that closed? I would pleasantly surprised. I'd be very pleasantly surprised if we're getting the ESPN version, the one that we see in America, but I won't mind the global version because it's still Sports Center. But I think if we're getting Sports Center, at the very least, we'll get the global edition that we had on ESPN Player. NFL Network and NFL Red Zone. Not straight away, but providing what the deal is with DAZN, obviously pending regulatory approval, because obviously NFL Media could get bought by ESPN, obviously the NFL Network and NFL Red Zone, and obviously the NFL owning a stake in ESPN. I would like to see that on Disney Plus as well, but it depends what the deal is with DAZN and would it come to fruition. You've still got another 8 years or so left on the DAZN deal, so either way, it's not going to happen until at least 2026, pending obviously regulatory approval with this. But yeah, it would be nice to have NFL Network and NFL Red Zone all in one place, along with all the other American sporting good content from ESPN. But obviously we'll see if all the legal approval happens with that, shall we? The UFL. Now obviously this past season the UFL was on DAZN, but if that deal was only a 1 year deal, it might just be a non-exclusive deal, we don't know. But if ESPN Play was still around, I would have been very surprised if they didn't show the UFL in 2024. So I was surprised that DAZN picked it up really for 2025. Pleasantly surprised, of course, to watch the UFL. But either way, whichever way I'm watching it, I'd like to watch the UFL next season and beyond. Whether it's on Disney Plus, DAZN, it's all good with me. MLB Network. This isn't really something I expect to be on there, but in some territories, ESPN Player did have a 24/7 live stream of MLB Network. This isn't a Disney-owned network, and I don't think Disney and ESPN are trying to get a stake in Major League Baseball. Obviously, they're having a falling out at the moment, so I highly doubt MLB Network would be a part of the package, and also because there'll be stuff, i.e. bleacher features, that they don't have the global distribution rights for. So, and well, we was getting it on MLB.TV anyway, but now we're not. But I would be pleasantly surprised if MLB Network also made its way onto Disney Plus. As I said, there ain't anything that I would not want on there. I'm just happy to have my ESPN stuff back if it happens. What do you think of my lineup prediction for ESPN on Disney Plus? What do you think is going to be on there? Do you think it's going to happen, or do you think we're all getting too ahead of ourselves? Let us know in that comment section below. Be sure to drop a like on this video if you have enjoyed it. If you are brand new to this channel, you like what you see here, you want some more, click that subscribe button, turn on those notifications so you know whenever the hell I post next. Be sure to tell your friends how much of a great YouTuber I am. Instagram, and to follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Hawkins_MattUS, on Instagram at BigMattHawk18. But as always though, remember, if you need some cheer, have no fear, Big Matt Hawk is here!